Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I'm here to react to the Kansas City Chiefs' victory over the Miami Dolphins in Frankfurt, Germany. 21-14 was the final score. This was a really interesting game to watch. The Kansas City Chiefs came out firing offensively. They had a really, really tough game last week against the Denver Broncos, in which their offense looked very bad. Patrick Mahomes had the flu in that game. They made a lot of mistakes, and they saw their 16-game winning streak against the Broncos come to an end. So it was really good to see the Chiefs come out firing on offense today. They set the tone early. I felt like that, hey, last week was a little bit of an anomaly. Our offense is going to play better than that. Our offense is going to score a touchdown today. And I thought that the defense played really well. Really throughout the entire game. The defense, man, they just held that Miami Dolphins offense with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, good running game, and Raheem Mostert. Tua is a good quarterback, MVP candidate in a lot of ways. They held that offense to 14 points, no points in the first half. They didn't score until midway through the third quarter. The Dolphins did end up, by the end of the game, ending up with a little bit more yardage than the Chiefs offense. We'll talk about them in a second. But for now, I think, the defense really deserves some kudos today for their performance, holding down a really powerful offense. The Chiefs defense has shown throughout this season consistently that they can be counted on. I talked earlier in the season about complementary football, how this Chiefs team in particular, can win games differently than they've been able to in the past, and it really kind of echoes a lot of previous champion teams from those New England Patriots teams and maybe the Steelers and those other teams that can play complementary football. They can beat you in more than one way. Nick Wright from First Things First, I thought, made a really good point this week that I really agree with, and I thought was really evident today that the Chiefs, when they had Tyreek Hill, now their defense was a little underrated, right? They made some good plays in the Super Bowl. They were a top 10 scoring defense in 2019, so they weren't a bad defense by any stretch, but they were just kind of okay. It was a stretch to call them good, but they were maybe average at best with Tyreek Hill. And that Chiefs team, it really felt like if they were going to beat you, they needed to score. They needed to score points. They had to get at least 24, 28 points to beat you. It was kind of almost unheard of for the Chiefs to win games with only 17 points back then. That was before the Tyreek Hill trade. After the Tyreek Hill trade, this Chiefs team and last year's Chiefs team, but I think more so this one, they really can beat you in more than one way. They can have their offensive outburst games like the Chargers game a few weeks ago where they score 30 plus. They can beat you that way against the Bears. Obviously, the Bears are not a playoff team, so let's not maybe count that. But they can score points still when you need them to. I do believe that they can do that. They have the personnel to do that. They have the talent. They have the scheme. It's just about consistently putting it together. Travis Kelce today did not have a lot of yards. He only had, I think, 2 catches for 7 yards, something like that. But, again, back to the defense, this team can beat you with a defensive suffocating performance, and that's what they did today. Special teams today was okay. I thought McCole Hardman made a couple of questionable decisions on some punt returns, trying to return a punt that was inside the 5 whenever they just needed to kill clock. I thought that was questionable. The flip side of that is that if they had pinned it down at the 1, now that changes everything. So maybe a little bit questionable, a little over aggressive, but special teams was okay today. They didn't really ask anything of Harrison Butker. Tommy Townsend was good. He was consistent. So the Chiefs, I feel like, won this game today because 2 out of the 3 phases were better than the Dolphins, and I feel like the third phase for the Chiefs offense, which I'll get to, third phase of the game was the Chiefs offense. And I think breaking them down a little bit more, looking at them not just with this game but a little bit deeper, they still make too many mistakes. Marquez Valdez-Scantling doesn't come up with a deep pass that could have essentially iced the game. I understand there was a little bit of contest in there, but you saw the Miami Dolphins wide receivers, and oftentimes we've seen with other wide receivers throughout the season, can make contested catches like that. You've got one-on-one coverage. You've got to step on the guy. The ball's in the right area, and they just don't come down with it at a high enough percentage to really feel comfortable doing that. So sometimes I think it puts Patrick in kind of Superman mode, which he had a turnover today on 3rd and 20 because I think he really wanted to make something happen because the offense had been sputtering. So the offense did enough today to win, but I think, having that last drive with a chance to ice the game, 3rd down and 1, you had a nice first down pass play to Hardman, a decent second down run where he got 4 yards, and you choose to throw the ball on 3rd and 1 with Isaiah Pacheco, and I think it was a short one. It was less than a yard really there. I thought that was a good opportunity to bring out the QB sneak again. They hadn't quarterback snuck Patrick Mahomes in 5 years because he got injured 5 seasons ago. I thought that would have been a decent time to break it out. But I do feel like the Chiefs are that kind of team that they're going to play their game. They're going to play their style. Sometimes it's a little cute. Sometimes it's a little bit too creative in some ways. But it does keep the other team guessing. And I don't feel like the Chiefs are the kind of team that's going to really amp up their game big time in the regular season until they have to. And right now, you look at the Chiefs, you kind of zoom out and look at this season as a whole. They're 7-2. They have the best record in the AFC. They have tiebreakers right now over 2 potential division winners with Jacksonville and Miami. They've got Buffalo and Cincinnati coming up later in the season. So if you can win those 2 games and then finish off your division opponents, the Chiefs are probably going to be the number 1 seed in the conference. Baltimore's maybe another team that you got to worry about a little bit, but they've got a pretty tough division. I think they're going to drop a couple more games. So yeah, very good win. I give the Chiefs a total grade of a B. I would say maybe B plus. I'll go B plus. I would say the offense was a C plus game out of them. I thought it was good that they established the tone early, offensively. And they did get a lead that did allow Miami to kind of be a little bit more one-dimensional and kind of forced Miami out of, it punched them in the mouth. They punched Miami in the mouth early, and they said, hey, that Denver game last week was an anomaly. That was an aberration. We're not going to be like that today. And I thought that was important, but I do dock them for not being able to finish drives, for not being able to convert on a 3rd and 1 with a chance to win the game. They put way too much pressure on the defense at the end there. And again, the wide receivers not really being able to make contested catches. I think that Andy Reid is really good at scheming up the first, 15 scripted plays, and I think that's kind of some of what you saw on that first drive there. I think that may have been part of the reason why that was so effective. But all too often you're seeing right now a little bit too much inconsistency from the offense. But I give them a C+. They did enough to win the game. The defense, I give them an A. Chris Jones had a bad penalty that kind of kept the drive going, a personal foul. He kind of lost his cool there a little bit. It happens, but it really can't happen in a situation like that where you've got them off the field and taking 3, and instead they get an automatic first down and get a touchdown out of it. And the big play of the day, we got to talk about it, that fumble return right before halftime. Trent McDuffie strips the ball from Tyreek Hill. I think there's no doubt that was a strip. It was not an incompletion. He just took the ball from him. And then lateraled the ball. I forget who it was that flipped the ball to Brian Cook. Maybe it was McDuffie that had the ball, but one of the Chiefs defenders had the ball, and they lateraled it to Brian Cook, which was awesome, and he scored a touchdown off of it. That play really set the tone in the game as well, and I think it showed that, if it was, I don't believe the Chiefs felt this way today, but there's a little bit of competition there. There's some competitiveness. If this was a Tyreek Hill versus the Chiefs day, I'd say the Chiefs won in more ways than one today. Thanks, everyone. I got a bye week coming up, so I will have another video out next week kind of recapping the games from not just this weekend, but also next weekend with the AFC standings and see where the Chiefs look going into the second half in crunch time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.